Hello and welcome to Old Man Orange Podcast. Well, I got something to announce really quickly. We got an official t-shirt out there right now for the next little while on Teespring.com. So if you want to show a little extra support and wear your pride out there, you can go to teespring.com/oldmanorange and pick up one of our kind of limited edition t-shirts. Just features the modern Old Man Orange logo and the website on it, and what would you expect? An orange t-shirt, but it's pretty darn cool, and if you wore it, you'd be even cooler. So go check it out, tell your friends, and then come on back to oldmanorange.com. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan. And I'm not gonna lie, I got nothing to open with, because you and me, we talked for about like 2 hours on the phone before we even recorded today, just about whatever. So now that we're actually here recording for the podcast, like, oh man, why are we even sociable with each other anymore? We should just say that shit for the podcast.
That's okay. Look, I got something, dude. I finally sat down and watched this original Walking Tall, and I got it fucking on VHS, so it makes it all that much more cooler. And
I like how you're actually holding it up like it was a goddamn advertisement, like Walking Tall, here we go.
No, I did the lazy thing. I didn't even take notes. I just sort of set down the things right here. Like, this is what you did in the last week. If you want to talk about it, you got physical materials right here to play with.
That sounds wrong, but that way, physical materials to play with.
That's what it is. It's a physical material that brings me joy and entertainment.
I know, but just physical things to play with. Just saying.
But that original Walking Tall is pretty badass, and it definitely gets, being a 70s movie, it gives you all that good 70s grit that like the Rock one doesn't give you. And don't get me wrong, that Rock Walking Tall is one of my favorite movies of all time. But this one is just that more like life is tragic, things go wrong, fucking shit is gonna die, and you're gonna have to deal with it. Now, are you man enough to stand up to that? Tell me, boy, can you be the guy to bring justice to this town?
Maybe. I think I can. We'll see what happens. Give me that 2x4.
I got 2x4 here. Put a handle on it.
I don't know why Mickey Mouse is the star of it.
No, but like the Rock one, when I break that movie down, it's almost like that's a superhero movie without a guy being a superhero. If that makes any sense, like it almost plays out just like a superhero movie. And even it kind of ends like almost in a superhero like fashion, like where the Rock fights the main bad guy at the very end, this huge battle into the fucking lumber yard and everything, and it gets all intense.
All I've seen is the Rock version. I've never seen that version. I want to.
I never seen this one till right now because this movie was so hard to come by.
I know they have the straight to DVD like Hercules version of it. Like start the guy from Hercules, and then it was like. We were watching like, what the fuck does this have to do anything with Walking Tall? And it was just like they're getting involved in some kind of like drug kingpin, and somebody was like wearing a wire at some point. Like, when's he gonna swing a 2x4 to the side of someone's head? What the fuck's going on?
That was one of those movies where it's just like, I wanted to like it. I was like, how could you go wrong? I just thought, I'm like, Walking Tall is such a great idea. You could probably make so many sequels to it. And then that was the one where, like, I think we watched like 45 minutes of it, turned it off, never turned it back on again. Like, that was just I don't even have it anymore. I just got rid of it. It was just like...
It takes a lot for you to get rid of a movie because you're a pack rat. You hold on to everything you get. The fact that you got rid of that movie says something right there.
I know. I was just like...
Did you actually charge money for it, or you just give it away? Like, I don't need this anymore. Just pass it on. One of those gifts.
I gave it to my mom's consignment shop. I just like, here's some movies I don't watch. Sell them.
And it's probably still sitting there, too, I bet.
I don't think it is, because I don't think I saw it when I went in there. So somebody, that's somebody out there, just like me, who said, hey, this Walking Tall is going to be so badass. I love that Rock one so much. And it's got Hercules in it. How could you go wrong? Which is an interesting thing. Think about it. The Rock was also Hercules, too. Now, recently...
It's the Walking Tall... Is it like the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon thing? So it's like Walking Tall Hercules connection, maybe?
Something like that. But no, in this old one, though, like, shit gets really fucking real in it. I mean, for one, like, they killed the guy's dog.
Oh.
And the fucking... He's got kids and everything in this one,
too.
You
never fuck with a man's dog. Never fuck with a man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. It makes him so much more angrier. And then, like, it even has, like, here's a spoiler thing, but to make the movie even more intense, him and his wife decide, they're like, oh, we're gonna go out. It's bright and early. We're gonna go on a nice Sunday drive. Just kind of drive to the fields. And next thing you know, they're ambushed by another car, and they're in a shootout, and they shoot the wife in the back of the head.
Oh,
And
damn.
and fucking the walking tall guy he's holding on to her like fucking crying, like she's just there. And then like their other police guys show up and they do that thing where they gotta like pull him away and whatnot. There's even more intense scenes too. There's a part two where he goes to pull over this girl and she ends up shooting him. Like, so he's getting, not only does he get cut up, just like in the Rock one, he also gets fucking shot at one point, comes out of the hospital, keeps fighting crime. Then he gets in that car accident with his wife or whatever, and his jaw's broken from that too. So then he's back in the hospital again. His wife's now dead. He still has to fight crime. But in the long run, though, he fucking takes them down. He takes down that little, like, fucking Tennessee casino. That's what takes place in this one's Tennessee, not Oregon or whatever the other one was.
I'll say I do.
Oregon or Washington.
I do like the Rock one, but after hearing this one, this sounds like so much more badass and so much more like hardcore. Because now the other one was actually pretty much it was pretty. This one seems like more of an action drama, where the other one it's much more of just a straightforward action movie with a shitty little snarky. He had like this shit. The little bit of drama you got from it was a shitty little snarky like punk kid that we have to like out of nowhere all of a sudden, and then
oh yeah, that's right. He has like his little brother.
It's like his little brother, which
nephew.
he never met because he was off serving. He was like serving the country for like 8 years, like maybe not 8 years, maybe like 4 years or something. But he was gone for a while. By the time he actually met, it was like his nephew or something. By the time he actually met the kid's like, well, "You were gone. Who cares?" Just has this immediate.
Look, I got marijuana now.
And the kid actually I don't know. The kid was only like 11, but he like overdosed on meth or something. Like, where'd you get the meth from? Well, I got it from M. Bison.
Yeah. No, in this one, it's like what happens is he gets back from like the war, same kind of thing like that. But he was also like a wrestler too, a professional wrestler. And like he's got like, I got a family now, Daddy. And like it's like meet the missus and meet the two kids. We're gonna live in Tennessee and it's gonna be a good old time. And they're just like, oh yeah, come on back, son. Let's have a good old barbecue. Let's come on. And then next thing you know, he's riding with his buddy, and they take him to the casino just like in the Rock one. And he's all and he just kind of looking like fucking casinos and whatnot. And then he does the thing where he catches it that's a loaded dice, and then he gets into a big fight there, and that's where he gets all like. No, he doesn't get cut up yet. He gets there and he gets thrown out. And then when he goes back to get his money that they stole from him, when he's got the fucking baseball bat and just starts like cracking heads, that's when he's gets laid down and gets cut up. But I mean, it has like similar beats, but it's just so much. It's that kind of 70s film thing where it's gritty. Fucking shit that people love is gonna die.
There's got to be some loss.
And the cool thing too is the actual walking tall guy, the guy this whole thing's based off of. Uh-huh. He was like the main
producer?
Oh, wait. Well, not close to it. He was there the whole time. Like he had fucking second billing in the credits.
Really? Huh.
Like it was just like it said something like main consultant or something like that. Like Buford Pusser or whatever. He has like a weird name.
Buford Pusser. you gotta be the world's biggest badass with a name like Buford Pusser.
Yeah, that's literally it is. It's Buford Pusser. I guess I don't know how you pronounce that.
Just please insult me. Please just give me a reason to break your fucking.
But I really, if you can find a copy of this, because I looked for a long time, and then I finally found it on VHS because you couldn't. It's really hard to find on DVD. You can't just go out and rent it on Netflix or anything like that.
So get pussified.
Oh, it's pretty damn good. I still would say this. I think the Rock one just overall is pretty much more entertaining, but this one though is just so much more like hardcore, as in like that 70s grit. Well, just that fucking like. But then you get justice at the end.
I feel like a lot more like 70s movies had way more. I'll put it this way: I think that nowadays action movies are a bit more violent, but back then, action movies had way more gravity to them because it felt like anybody here could die. Where now in a lot of action films, not all. I mean. What's his name? David Ayer has been proven that wrong with his movies, but it seems like a lot of other movies. It seems like all right, well these guys are gonna make it out. These guys are gonna be fine, and it doesn't really feel like there's much gravity to it all. But in like 70s movies, though, it feels like it always is some like heavy point. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah. When you watch a 70s film, sometimes some of those action drama kind of horror movies, you always kind of go like, you see like these like this loving couple or something. You're just like, one of them's gonna fucking die, and they're gonna die in a really shitty way too.
And Bonnie and Clyde, yeah.
And that's what that's like I think 68. That's like the beginning point though. Like the late 60s And
That like an Easy Rider were like some of the earlier ones to adopt that, right? Where the heroes don't always make it out, or some shit's gonna go bad at some point.
yeah, though that late '60s and then it goes into '70s. I think that was the most amount of freedom that was ever allowed in cinema. Almost. It sounds
Hmm.
weird, but that was just a point where movies just fucking were ballsy. And if they made a character something that's evil, they didn't even like have to give them reasons why they're evil. Like we're nowadays, the one thing that always kind of bothers me, they always try to make the villain tragic, almost like he almost could be a good guy, and the reason he's doing all this stuff is because people did this, this, and that to him.
They led him to it, so that's the reason why he blew up a whole planet in Star Trek. So we still got to feel bad for him for some reason.
Which in the '70s they just said no, these people are fucking evil and they do shitty evil things, and there's no reason for you to like them because they're horrible, horrible evil people. And to me, I think that makes a better villain sometimes, and I also think that makes something way more scarier.
Hmm.
Because the second that you, especially if it's like a horror movie and you got a villain, and then you start to give him a reason like why he's killing these people, and then you might go, well, fuck it, maybe these people do deserve to die. Fucking yeah, I mean, like maybe it's not the right thing to do, but I see where he's coming from. But once you can see where he's coming from, then it like takes away that like evil to him, like the pure evil of like life.
I just kind of went on with the Wikipedia and looked up Buford Pusser.
Uh huh.
Uh, Here's some sad stuff right here. Pusser, December 12th, 1937, August 21st, 1974.
Oh, holy crap! He must have died like right after this movie. Then
So
this movie's '73.
Pusser died on August 21st. I just drank something cold, so I can't pronounce my S's right. Buford Pusser died on August 21st, 1974, from injuries sustained in a one-car automobile accident. Earlier in the day, Pusser had contracted with Bing Crosby Productions in Memphis to portray himself in a sequel to Walking Tall. That evening, returning home from the McNairy County Fair in his specially and powerfully modified Corvette, Pusser struck in an embankment at a high speed that ejected him from the vehicle. The car caught fire and burned.
Oh wow, fuck! That's a tragic death of him going down.
Yeah, there's also another thing. The murder of Pauline. Oh my God, the murder of Pauline Pusser. Oh, gee, that's the next one down right there.
Yep.
Pop culture. There's one I read. I'm not gonna lie. After I watched Walking Tall, I just kind of like skimmed through this briefly because I was looking for certain things. I didn't look at his death and the potential murder of his wife. But there's one I saw on here. Looking for right.
Well, looks like she died the exact same way it was in the movie. So that movie's the '70s one at least is probably pretty darn to the T, especially if he's sitting there on set the whole time. I mean, he's obviously going to go like, yo, this is how it happened or this is how it didn't
Oh, I guess
happen.
I did. Oh, wait, it says 67. Yeah, okay. I didn't even read that. I guess that's according to Pusser. His phone rang before dawn on the morning of August 12th, 1967, informing him of a disturbance on New Hope Road in McKinney County. Pusser responded, and his wife Pauline rode along. Shortly after, they passed the New Hope Methodist Church. A car home alongside theirs occupant opened fire, killing Pauline and leaving Pusser for dead with a single bullet wound in his chest.
Jen.
Chin, my mistake.
But yeah, so I mean, it literally happened the same way that it happened in the movie.
Okay, I assume maybe that was some bullshit they made up for the movie. Wow.
Well, nowadays, probably in the '70s, that concept of just making shit up wasn't there as much.
Yeah,
Where nowadays, it's kind of like, no, 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 no. Let's have his wife die, but she's still alive and well and quite happy. Like, no, no, no. Make her get raped, too.
yeah. It said he spent 18 days in the hospital before returning home. He would need several more surgeries to restore his appearance. God damn. I had no idea that actually, I'm so used to seeing movies kind of bullshit their way through things. I'm actually kind of surprised to see one that actually, oh wow, it actually did get that dark, huh?
Yeah, so it's actually kind of amazing. I'm flipping through this thing. There's actually a Walking Tall Part 2 and a third one, all in the '70s.
I
I knew
know
there was a second one, but I didn't know there was a third
the
one.
one I was actually looking forward was where is it? This was maybe got removed. Jimmy Buffett apparently rolled by his town at some point, got really drunk and rambunctious, and And old Buford, apparently beat the fuck out of him, told him to get out of there. Then he wrote a song about it.
Really? Like, how young was Jimmy Buffett at this point?
I don't know. I heard about it though. It was let's see, pop culture. I remember just skimming through this one time, and then just coming across that real briefly, but I don't really see it here now.
Oh, did
I didn't cross. I didn't gonna go. I didn't look at his death. I didn't look at his wife's murder. I just skimmed through real quick.
I like this
Yeah.
right here, like the final chapter, Walking Tall, Part 3. Here's the movie poster. It just shows him kind of carrying the makeshift like 2x4 bat, and it just says Buford Pusser. ... Now there's a man.
This dude was a fucking man. Jesus.
He was, dude. He fucking like, he took the law into his own hand and then got put into the law because he was so good at it that he got to take care of fucking moonshining and prostitution and gambling and all sorts of evil crimes out there in Tennessee.
I ain't a religious man, but if there is a heaven, this dude, he's like the bouncer at the fucking gate,
Fucking hanging out there with Jesus is fucking like, who do you want me to take care of, Jesus?
Whose knees you want me to fucking break today? You don't gotta do it. Like, no, I really just give me a badge. I want to be an archangel. I want to be the archangel. I'm ready to smite that fucking shithole. Like, oh, whoa, okay. Baby steps. How about you just guard the gate for a while, all right.
Buford, okay, here's the thing. If you want to take a week-long trip to hell, you can go beat the shit out of anybody you want down there.
Oh, sign me up.
Walking Tall, Part 4, Descent into Hell. Oh my god, if there was a Buford Pusser movie that... It was almost like Dante's Inferno, but he was just more going down there just to, like, take out everybody.
Beat the shit out of people. He's going down the list. He's got Osama bin Laden.
Hitler.
Because he's got news. He's got TV up there in heaven. So he's got Hitler. He's got Osama bin Laden. He's got Mussolini, whatever. Also has Jeffrey Dahmer.
Just all sorts of people.
He's just going on the rampage. That's all he's doing. And like Satan's just like, no, have at it. Like, what, you got something to say to me, Lucifer? No, just do your thing, man. Do your thing. Just please don't point that big bat at me. Don't. It scares me.
Just down there, like fighting crime. The only way.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, I'm even looking at this guy right here in his profile picture, and it's just like, it looks like if he headbutted you, you would just die instantly. He's got a huge fucking forehead, man.
Dude, there's even a 70s TV show on Buford that focused on like the early, like around, I guess same time period, but there's just also...
I had no idea. I mean, I need to see this one now after hearing all this stuff, because the other one was just like, she was some hot chick that cheated on him. They left, and she was a stripper. And oh man, if he got resurrected, Wanda would actually, they'd ultimately join forces to like, it would be like Superman, Batman. He'd have to fight The Rock at some point.
Yeah, literally. Well, it's like those ones like...
He says, "You're destroying my legacy." He's like, "It wasn't me. I didn't write it. I was just acting."
Well, it's funny because like the one thing about the Rock one is like, it's a really good movie, but the fact that it just kind of goes in this like complete opposite direction than this like full on real story
direction.
I mean, and I get it. Like it's just supposed to be the idea of taking a real person and making them sort of like a mythic character, where like, well, here's that same character, but it happens to take place in Oregon or Washington, wherever that one is in that movie. And it's, it's a different type of person. It's a different time period and so on. So I think that's really cool in a sense. But as I said, you watch this one, it's just so fucking ballsy and just gritty and just 70s as can be. And then it's telling it as it is, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I will say, now hearing how his wife died, and then basically, I don't know if she has the same name, but given like, this is going to maybe sound kind of weird and kind of maybe a little off topic, but... because I don't really know how they present the wife in the actual movie, but in the original movie, but in the Dwayne Johnson one, she was like a stripper or something, and that seems kind of...
Well, that one's different because it's not like his wife.
I'm not sure. Maybe someone in the place. I guess it just seems kind of weird right there. It's like, oh, we're gonna sexualize some chick that was shot in the back of the head, but maybe it's like...
I don't think that's supposed to be the same character.
It's probably
because
everybody's
sort of
names is probably different I haven't only seen like the remake like once or twice, and I don't remember the names well enough. But I guess just saying I know what she's supposed to be, so that's what seems weird about it. But I really have to check this one out now.
Yeah, you really do. Well, because actually the Johnny Knoxville character's in it too. I mean, obviously it's not Johnny Knoxville, But like, just to clarify there, for anybody who is wondering,
time traveling Johnny
but
Knoxville.
I mean, it's got a lot of the same stuff. Well, even there's another ballsy part. You know the part where there's like kind of the bad sheriff at the beginning of the movie, who's kind of like you.
Mm-hmm. The guy that looks like
Yeah,
Bill
he's just like,
Ingalls.
yo, you just fucking put up with it. Don't, this is my town. I run it the way I want to. And it's like, yeah, but you're doing illegal shit. I'm like, yeah, well, who's gonna tell me not to? Well, there's a part in this movie where before he's even before Buford's even sheriff, he's in this like he's just driving his car, minding his own business, and the sheriff tries to run him off the road. Is just like literally trying to kill him. And he keeps crashing his car into him, being like a total douche. And then all of a sudden, they're like in this big high-speed chase, and Buford turns or whatever, and the sheriff goes over this edge, crashes the car. The car catches on fire. He runs down there, pulls out the deputy guy, and then tries to go to save the sheriff, but then there's just too much flame, so he goes back, and the car blows up, killing the sheriff inside.
Wonder if that actually happens. They probably don't got a Wikipedia page on the sheriff, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I know.
If just says this dude's name. He fucking died in a car crash. The end. Oh, okay.
But the movie's even got kind of like a ballsy thing too, because he gets like he has a black friend in there. So keep in mind, this is also 70s, kind of pushing that in. They're like, yo, he's got a black friend now. He's allowed to be a main character.
Before back when it was a big deal. Like, look, he's quite radical. He's got a friend of let's say color.
Well, yeah, it really was, and then it's like he slaps like a deputy's badge in his hand. He's like, come on, you're coming with me.
We don't judge here, man.
It's ballsy.
I believe
it's ballsy for the South.
I believe Buford. Oh yeah, being in the South, fuck yeah. I believe Buford could do that. Reading all this other shit that he's done, I could believe Buford would be totally cool with that. He probably served in war. He probably had like black dudes he served with, so he's probably chill with them by that point.
Boy, I just looked at the age he died at. He died at 36.
God damn, and not like shortly after everything was probably just turning around and just like probably set to retire for life.
Well, he probably finally got that town back together, Adamsville, Tennessee, which apparently you can go to his home and there's a museum there now too, which that's pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. But it's just that thing. It's like, yeah, you finally
museum. They better have it better be like a Flash museum. Like how
Rogues Gallery,
Central City. They got like a giant. They got like the giant statue of the Flash running. They got to have a giant statue of this dude just holding a baseball bat.
I'm not too sure how big Adamsville, Tennessee is.
Bunch of diorama. Well, fuck, they got to make room for it. That's all I'm saying. They got to make room for that. And they have a bunch of dioramas, just him beating the fuck out of different people with a baseball bat. Every single one, he's in the same pose, striking some dude with a baseball bat, but it's just different settings, different guys.
Well, here we go. Adamsville, Tennessee. It's about the size of Tuolumne. It's got about 2,000 population there, so it's a small town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's pretty awesome.
Oh, it's also cool. They even got him in here too, so he's actually a wrestler in real life and everything. Buford the Bull.
That makes sense.
So man, that movie's pretty darn accurate.
I gotta look this up now. I gotta actually see this movie. This guy, just from looking at
you probably can find it on YouTube. I'm gonna say that because it's kind of like you could tell it's sort of like in the grindhouse style of movie making. I think it's low budget. They probably don't have the copyright for it anymore or something like that.
This is probably one Junk Food Cinema is probably going to cover at some point soon, I bet. That's a podcast. That's basically okay. There's a guy named Brian Salisbury. Is it Brian Salisbury? Brian Salisbury. And then Robert C. Cargill, he was one of the main guys on Spill, but he was the writer of Sinister, and he wrote a book called Of Dreams and Shadows. And they just have this they just have this podcast where they talk about it ranges from unknown movies, unknown exploitation movies, to just movies that just didn't really get picked up or noticed that much. They have ones about just cult cinema, basically, but they don't do it in a rude kind of snarky oh my god, this movie's so bad you got to see it. They actually legitimately like these movies, and they some of the stuff I know of, some of the okay, I know about that one, but there's other ones where it's I've never fucking heard of that. So imagine there's one where they did compare and contrast to both Man on Fires. So this seems like one they probably would do right here. Maybe I'm wrong though.
Huh? Interesting. I don't know, but look it up. You probably, as I said, you probably could find it on YouTube or something. They probably, because it's a lot of times older movies like that, you can just find the full version of it sitting right there, and then you can just watch it because it is pretty.
Who stars the original?
It's got what's his name? Joe Don Baker.
Joe Don Baker. God, yeah, this dude's a fucking badass.
But yeah, that movie, it's sweet. And it's just, I don't know, it's just one of those many of fantastic 70s films. But
36. That when you hear that kind of thing, that makes you really look back at you're like, God, when he was cleaning up town, he probably had to be our age. So he's like, God, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And you read about this kind of shit.
well, yeah, because he probably did it, when he was in his late 20s.
Yeah,
That's when he
yeah.
probably started doing that.
Oh man, I got to click off this because I'm realizing someone who's really badass, but B, it's like I know I could never be that. It's just making me depressed looking at this. It should inspire me, but it's just like just quit early. Like, nah, nah, what's the point? It ain't gonna happen.
But yeah, good times with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but another quick announcement I want to make before I forget is we got some T-shirts up right now that you can go and buy on Teespring.com. They're just simple. They got the Old Man Orange logo, the new one we got right now. It's on an orange T-shirt, to make it kind of as orange as possible. And then it says Old Man Orange across the top podcast, and then it's got the website on it. Simple, but kind of a cool thing that you can go out, wear around, show off the site, show off your pride, all kinds of good stuff. If you go to teespring.com/Old Man Orange, you can find it. I'll also put it in the podcast headline or heading.
Yes, check that out. Also,
yeah, I want to make sure I got that across, or else I forgot, or I probably would have forgot about it.
Something we should probably say real quick. We actually right now it's not a for sure thing the thing's gonna sell. It's on kind of a time limit. Like if we could sell X amount in this amount of time, then it's gonna be a permanent item. If
or no, that's not how it works.
If it worked like that, we had to sell X amount of.
No. Let me explain how Teespring works. So once again, it's up there for about 20 more days. Probably by the time this podcast comes up, it might be a little bit less than that. But it's up there, and it's kind of like Kickstarter, where they give you a certain amount of run of days, and all you gotta do is sell a handful of T-shirts, and then they'll print it off. So it's not like it's that hard to get them out there, but that's how it kind of works. So it just does a short run. So these T-shirts are pretty much limited edition. It's kind of what they are, unless we put them up there again. That's how Teespring works.
Okay, I thought there was more to that. All right, anyway. Now we got that out of the way.
Or so far, that's how I assume how it works. I'll tell you how it works once it's
I'm not
done,
gonna lie. I just kind of read briefly, just like a tiny little description. Didn't even read the full thing. Like, I think I got the idea. We're good enough. I'll go mention this on air. What's the point? Well, there's no chance of like any.
Why really read when I could just guess?
I can just guess and figure, wing it. Well, no, but we're gonna do a thing where we're basically just do kind of like a random poll. If you want a T-shirt, just go ahead and send us an email. And we're just gonna pick a random name out of all the email. Out of like just put your name in the email. We just pick a random name out of that email, and we'll mail you a shirt. No cost for you whatsoever.
Yeah, so we're giving out one free one too. That's the thing. So just send an email. You can say whatever you want. The things you like about the podcast, the things that you want us to talk about, or anything random really. So you can send that email to oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. And then we'll just pick one random name out of a hat. I don't want to have any like judging contest or anything weird like that. Like whoever's the funniest one, we decide.
Yeah, you better draw the best fan art. If you don't have good fan art, then don't even fucking bother. Yeah.
So we'll do that, pick one out, and then if you want to be really cool and support the thing too, go out and buy one, tell your friends, share it around. But yeah, next thing you know, there'll be a picture of Old Man Orange fucking dressed up as Buford Pusser on there, fucking with a bat slung over his shoulder and everything. Oh. I'm getting all kinds of new ideas now.
I got ideas. I got ideas for T-shirts. Not that, just because he seems too badass. I would hate to kind of to even compare Old Man Orange to an old orange.
I'm not comparing it
to an old orange in a wheelchair next to this dude that single-handedly took down a town and remade it in his image.
The whole point is we're idolizing his image, is what I'm saying.
We are idolizing him. We are. But
you're bringing it back down by putting it in a place like that. But if you kind of keep it it's almost like we're sort of saying this guy's so badass, we need to fucking worship him even more.
We do need to worship him, but I just feel like we would taint him more. I just feel like he is too good for. I just feel he is too good.
By that notion, his name might be forgotten.
It's
not like
we're
I think we just need to down. He's just got this cock just flopped out on the floor.
What?
Just
what?
See, exactly. That would be confusing, wouldn't it, if you just saw a picture of him naked?
Just with a bat slung over his shoulder.
So, might even be more badass that way. I'm not too
I
sure.
don't know. I'm not gonna fucking say nothing about it. I'm not gonna say shit about it. If I see him, I'm like, hey, well, I won't even like address him. He's just like, yeah, yes, sir. Okay, whatever you need. I just be afraid he's gonna beat me with the fucking bat. That's all.
Whatever you need there.
I need you to shut the fuck up and stop talking to me in your fucking show. Like, oh, all right, all right. I come to you. I have like Spencer. I had a vision last night. I had a dream. Was it the Batman one again? No, no, no. It wasn't the Batman one. It was Buford Pusser. He told us to stop talking about him because we were tainting his image.
No, if anything, we're bringing it fucking back is what we're doing.
No, I want to bring it back. I want to bring it back.
You know what I mean? Because
we'll try and I got some ideas for some mashup shirts. Maybe a Buford Pusser one would be a pretty cool idea. I was thinking maybe a Voltron shirt or something like that.
Like
Voltron, Old Man
that'd
Orange.
Be cool. I like that. Even
like
has two of us, but.
Well, I mean, like it's just.
No, you should do the other one. You should do the Gotcha Man one, like the fucking the one where they're all birds.
It could be that. I was thinking it was like the one of like where it's all like maybe it's combined of just different things we talk about on the podcast. I don't fucking know. I'll figure it out.
I'll cross that bridge when I get there.
I'm literally spitballing here. We like I said, we were talking for like 3 hours before we actually did the podcast. So I'm all out of funny and good ideas by this point.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if it was like 3 hours. It was probably like 45 minutes, but
it felt like I felt like maybe it was an hour at least. There's 2 different phone calls. Maybe I'm off though. Today's an off day for me. It's probably obvious though.
I've just been kind of like in my stack of crap here that I've like sat down that I can talk about of what I did. I've been playing the new Resident Evil a bunch since it came out. It came out about a week and a half ago by now.
Was this new Resident Evil? Is this just kind of like a port, or is it a brand new one for like 3DS or something? Or
it's a brand new one, and probably should have came out on the 3DS because that's kind of like what it would have been the sequel to. But it came out on like PS4, Xbox One, PS3, Xbox 360, PC probably. Not Wii U though. God fucking damn it! I don't know why nothing will come out on the Wii U anymore. That's like third party. There was a period where they were releasing stuff, and so many of these things. It's not like the game's like too big of a game that couldn't be on there. I mean, obviously, if it can come on PS3 and a 360. Why not Wii U? That's all I'm asking.
Why not?
But other than that, though, fucking, it's Revelations 2, and it is full on amazing. It is probably one of the coolest Resident Evil games I played in a long time, even though I liked all the other ones recently too.
Does this one play like Resident Evil like 4 and 5, or is it more the pre-rendered graphics and all that kind of stuff?
No, that would just be amazing if they did the pre-rendered graphics again. I don't think that's going to happen by anybody at Capcom.
Because I'll be honest, I haven't played a Resident Evil game since Resident Evil 4, and I've never played the previous ones, really.
You played Resident Evil 6 for like a half an hour.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, they're that, but I mean, like, I haven't played, like, any of the pre-rendered games. I've seen people, the ones with the tank controls, I've seen people do that before, but I haven't really seen the fixed angles with the pre-rendered graphics. I haven't seen those. I've never played any of those ones in a while.
That was the best of times there. But no, this one's really cool because it combines, like, sort of the feel of an old-fashioned Resident Evil. You know, it's got zombies in it, it's got puzzles, it's got things to solve, limited weapons, sort of. But then it has that kind of, the controls are like a modern Resident Evil, so it kind of plays still, maybe not as fluid as number 6, but close to it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's really cool, and you just switch off between a Barry story, which is cool because you've like, you know, Barry really hasn't been there. He was in the very first Resident Evil, but you don't play as Barry in it, and then he was in the Game Boy Color one.
Do you play as Barry in the Game Boy Color one?
You know, I can't remember. That's one of those games I always say, I'm like, I gotta sit down and beat that game at some point. But I think it's almost come to the point where I don't know if it's even possible at this point because
it would just be so tough to play.
Yeah, it's a little tough to play. It's kind of got some weird controls. Because that one,
does they still have the tank controls, or you have to kind of turn around, then go forward, that kind of thing? Does it still have that aspect to it?
I don't think so. It plays a little bit differently. It's almost like an RPG, sort of, if it makes sense. You run into a zombie, like it has this top-down Metal Gear Solid view, and then you run into a zombie, and then it's got this like bar that goes across, and you gotta like time the shots, and then you hit it. It's kind of weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be a little weird right there.
But I know that one. But I
almost imagine when you said like an RPG thing, like it runs into it as a little like swirl thing that dun 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 dun. You know, Barry came across a zombie. You know, like back shot of Barry with a gun, zombie like comes in.
Oh, if it was just like that, that would be probably
throw a rock.
That'd probably like the best Resident Evil game out there.
Bait it, shoot it in the head. You know.
But no,
Barry used gun.
But really, other than that, though, like, okay, you could play as Barry, I want to say, in Resident Evil 5, or it might have been 6, or maybe both of them, in, like, the Mercenaries mode. I want to say it's 5. I want to say you can. So really, you almost never play as Barry. So this game's got full on. You play as Barry. He's a big character, and then the other character you play as is Claire from Resident Evil 2, and then you play as Barry's daughter, Moira. So she's got a very Scottish name, and all of a sudden Barry's got a Scottish accent too. I'm not too sure how that happened. He talks like Liam Neeson in this game.
Well, there's worse things to talk like.
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just weird. It's just like he picked up this accent over the last 15 years. It's kind of got this weird thing too because you can play the game co-op, but it'd be sort of weird playing it co-op because Barry and Claire just are like the main characters. They got the guns. They walk around, and then Moira when you're playing with Claire, and then there's this little girl that's following around Barry that like he picks up. He's like, "Well, we gotta get you off this island here. What are you doing? Just standing around. Come with me. You're safer with me." But these other characters, so you can play this game co-op, but the other characters like they don't have guns. They just have a sort of melee weapon. And then you really just kind of use them to like do small tasks, like open this box, climb this ledge, go under this like small space, you know. But like if you're just playing co-op, it'd just be like it would sort of be like playing Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and having your buddy play as Tails, where you just keep running and then like oh, I'm catching up. Oh crap, I got up. I guess I'm.
He sees something he wants to get on, so he stops for a second. You go right off the screen. You hear yourself get killed by something.
Yeah, because the screen doesn't follow Tails; it only follows Sonic.
Which I always thought that was kind of, even as a kid, even with Sonic, my favorite character, I always thought that was so fucked up because you could still be like, you could be fighting Robotnik or whatever, and the two of you working together, and then like you could be Tails and do the killing shot to Robotnik, but all the animals still like crowd around Sonic. They pay no mind to Tails. Like, yeah, fuck him, whatever.
Well, the one thing too is like on Sonic is like it did work really well. Like, I mean, in the regular levels, it's almost like what can you do because Sonic's going so fast that you miss one jump and next thing you know you're off the game. But you can do that thing like when I was a kid, you just get somebody else to play as Tails. You stand back, you're like, okay, no, fucking kill him because Tails can die over and over and over and still keep going. But I only got a certain amount of rings here, so I'm just gonna hang out here in the corner. You maybe dodge some spikes.
That actually sounds very tactical for if you ever have to do like a final boss. Assume
except you can't have Tails on the final boss.
Wait, really you can't tell even if it's like 2-player?
No, on Sonic 2, when you get to the very final boss, Tails, like, I think the plane crashes or he flies away.
I just see, like,
they call it off
like, fly me there, Tails, and also, like, oh shit, jumps up, like, oh fuck, like, crashes down.
Crashes down. Oh, well, at least I got up to the death egg.
I'm thinking maybe Sonic Adventure, like Sonic the Hedgehog 3 or something. If you're playing a Sonic and Tails, I think it would be that actually would be the very strategic thing to do. Just like, okay, well, I'll just stay in the corner. I'll just avoid death. You do all the work, all right? One of us will just stay alive. One of us just does all the work.
Die.
I never crossed my mind. No, it's just now it's coming to me.
I mean, like nowadays, it doesn't make a difference to me because it's just like. I can kill Robotnik. I don't have a problem. But when I was a kid, it was like the coolest thing. It was like, oh man, then I won't die and I won't, have to lose my coin or not coins, fucking rings. The weird thing, when I was a kid, I used to always call in Mario the coins. I always call them rings. Now somehow, some way, I flipped around where I call everything coins instead of rings.
And then like the day where it was like you were
like there's this pause where it's just like, oh. Well, that was fucking dumb.
Oh no! I was talking. I'm not sure if the recorder's gonna pick up on it. There was this like once again the static kicked in. So I was actually, but I'm not sure if it got my full response, which was there. That's when there'd be that one douchebag kid who like every once in a while, like in school, there'll be those days like, okay, for whatever reason, we're gonna let you bring a video game system to school. It's just whatever. We're just killing time and tax dollars day, and there'll be that one kid to be like, you're like, oh, I lost all my rings. Like, it's coins. This isn't Sonic the Hedgehog. Or, there'll always be like that guy, Who
would like shoot you down for not knowing it. Or, you're like, you know what I meant.
Yeah. There's always that one like fucking, like, he was that kid that like, he liked all the same shit as you. And you probably could have like a decent conversation with him, but the second you got something wrong, he just turned into like, well, Scorpion's better because he has fire instead of I, one of those kind of kids, or like, oh yeah, Pikachu. I think he's number 26. Raichu's 26. You fucking idiot. Pikachu's 25. So just like the most minute type of shit.
Yeah, literally just always has to correct. Always has to be the one-upper in life.
Mm-hmm. The same
I
kid
don't know,
that
but this Resident Evil game though is really fucking
Oh right,
awesome,
we were
and
talking.
you can get it for $40, which is badass too. And they did that weird thing, like you could technically buy it kind of beforehand. Like each week they release an episode, so for 1 month long, you could just buy one each week, and they're all about like a little over 2 hours a piece or so, give or take. But in the long run, it's really just about, I guess, compared to like modern Resident Evil games, it's kind of short because a lot of those newer ones are all up to about like 16 plus hours.
Mm-hmm.
But if you compare it to an older Resident Evil game, it's about the same length as that.
Mm. Well, I'm gonna have to.
And then they got little bonus stuff and raid mode and all kinds of extra goodies that I haven't got to yet.
I might have to look into that because I'm not gonna lie. I played like co-op Resident Evil 6 with you once or twice. Beyond that, though, I haven't really played any of them since 4. So I'm gonna have to check this one out real quick.
It reminds me of the Resident Evil where they're really trying to like, because for some reason, like to this day, I still don't really get it. Like Resident Evil 6 pans so bad for some reason. A game that plays extremely fluidly and is really no different than Resident Evil 5 or 4 or 5. You know, maybe a tad bit more action, but not by much. But this game kind of goes back, makes things a little bit more simpler. Definitely has more horror in it, I guess, if you want to say. And then they're regular zombies too.
Maybe
So they kind of like play it to all the key things. And then the two main characters are not like, there's nobody really new. The side characters are, but the main characters are all classic characters.
maybe that's the problem with number 6. I mean, I never really played it long enough. I just played. I want to say I played some of the Leon levels with you on co-op,
Mm-hmm.
and that was fun. But I think maybe the problem the second you try to make everybody happy, that's where people get pissed off because wasn't that one like, okay, the Chris Redfield levels are the really action oriented levels, the Leon levels are the much more horror oriented levels, and then like there's another one in there where it's basically it took the idea of Resident Evil 3, which is Nemesis could appear at any time and try and kill you, but it wasn't Nemesis, it was something else. So
Yeah.
and that's like
That was the Sherry Birkin one.
so basically, it just took those 3, and it just was there a 4th one in there, or is that?
Yeah, there's an Ada Wong one, which kind of just ties all the stories together.
Which one is Wesker's kid?
He's with Sherry Birkin.
Okay, do you play as him or is he this? Because I know he does punching stuff. His whole thing is he doesn't use guns. He's like
No, he uses guns.
Oh, he does. Okay, I remember
Yeah.
seeing him just do like move fast and do all the Wesker type shit or whatever. I remember seeing that like in the trailer.
Oh yeah, that's probably just like a cinematic or something like that.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I think the second you try to appeal to everybody, just giving everybody a little bit of something, I think everyone's going to get a little pissed off because it's not more of this one particular thing. I think that's where like some of the Sonic games went wrong, because they're trying to like appeal to everybody by like, okay, this one has a little bit of the shooting, this one has a little bit of the treasure hunting. Like, no, just make it all fucking running. That's all we really want. Just make it all fucking running.
Yeah, you could probably say with Resident Evil 6. I mean, like it's not that much difference. Like, okay, like the Chris one has maybe a little bit more action in it, but that doesn't bother me. I don't know. It's one of those ones. I guess it just doesn't bother me because the game's just such a well-made game and it's so much fun. And it's just a continuation of Resident Evil. And I saw it coming already with Resident Evil 4. I think because I accepted it when Resident Evil 4 came out, where a lot of other people, I don't know if it's in the back of their minds, they just didn't accept it. And then when 5 came out, they didn't realize that, you know what makes things less scary? You throw a co-op person in there. Yeah. But I don't think in most people's minds, like that crosses it. It's like, because really, if you just took Resident Evil 5 and you just said, you just play as Chris, there's no Sheva. Or you just play as Sheva, there's no Chris. That game would be just as scary, if not scarier, than probably Resident Evil 4. But since you got 2 of them there,
it takes away because you got a buddy with you. But another thing, I was not attacking it in that aspect. I think that's just the mindset of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But what seemed kind of dumb to me is that everybody, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I mean, original fans like RJ, I can maybe kind of understand some of their complaint regarding Resident Evil 6. I was never a diehard fan, so I can never really attack it that much.
Yeah, but I'm a humongous diehard fan. I'm like, I buy anything that's got Resident Evil on it. God damn.
Yeah, I know. I know that. I know. What I'm saying is that it seemed kind of like once Resident Evil 4 came out, and I don't want to use the word poser because that's the only one I really played and I really got into. And not that I just dislike or don't care about the other ones. I just, I only played number 4 and I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where everybody's like, oh, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I love Resident Evil. You've always loved Resident Evil? Yeah, I've always loved Resident Evil. Resident Evil's always been awesome. And then the second we get, I guess, because number 4 was still more scarier than 5, from what I remember you playing on 5. It basically seemed like more of the same, though, to a certain extent. And we got people freaking the fuck out about that in number 4, about in number 6. I'm like, I mean, yeah, this one did seem a little bit more action based in some aspect, but it's not that much different from 4 and 5, which I don't know why people are freaking out or why so many people just felt so disheartened. And especially, it was even people who were fans of 4, but not the previous like Resident Evil games. So it's like, why are you guys bitching? This is where you guys came in at.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you started from 4, there is no reason why you shouldn't like 5 and 6 because it's the same fucking game, just more fluid. I mean, obviously you got to like amp up the action just a little bit more, because it's the sequel. It's just kind of what happens. But yeah, I mean, like I can understand if like you're like one of those like classic Resident Evil gamers, like a pre-4, because that was before 4 came out, Resident Evil was just the game that just got shit on by everybody. Unless you were a Resident Evil fan, people fucking hated those games. People would give them like, they would give them such horrible ratings and all kinds of stuff. Like it was a series that was totally like not that popular. I mean, it was in one way because the people that did like it really liked it, but it pissed so many other people off. And that's why 4 it sort of brought together where even though it's really not that much different, it's just, I guess, maybe a little bit more 3D. It brought to a world where it could start bringing in some kind of other gamers that might have put down Resident Evil in the past, but now they could jump into it. And then 5 and 6 are even more fluid to where they could jump in from, you could be playing Gears of War and you could come jump into Resident Evil and it, just be a horror version, I guess you could almost say. I'm not too sure where I'm going with that. But
I remember, oh, good.
All right, you continue on first and I'll go to mine next.
Well, I remember before, I mean, I don't remember like all the details, but I remember before 4 even came out, they were talking about it in like some video game magazine. And there was a big list of like, what do you think about Resident Evil 4 and the new changes? Kind of like, and like the 3, and there was like a rating of like how many of people said what. And it was, 1 was, I can't wait. 2 was, I'm not so sure, but I'm hoping the best. And 3 was, I'm tired of it. I just want them to end this stupid series. And that was overwhelmingly the number 1 response. And it was just like, yeah, and that was the one to bring a bunch of people in. So I just don't understand where like this much of cynicism and hatred for it comes from. I really don't know where. I mean, I know that. I mean, granted, there's things we shit on the show all the time, like Wreck-It Ralph or whatever. But I
that has reason behind it, though.
No, but still, I feel like I don't know. Sometimes people just. I mean, this ain't nothing new, but people just hate for the sake of hating.
Oh yeah, I think Resident Evil's always been a cause of like it's just always been an easy target to go after, and I think that's kind of the downfall. Where Revelations 2 comes in, though, is it almost tries to abide to, like, everything to fix the main problems. Like, there's no zombies with guns. The game's scarier. There's regular zombies. Because that was the one thing about... There was that Revelations on 3DS. And it was more... It felt like a classic Resident Evil, just with more modern controls. But it didn't have any zombies in it. So that kind of pissed people off in its own way. Which I just kind of accepted. I'm like, fuck, they're on a boat. Like, we want to have kind of, like... water-like zombie creature thingies. I mean, half the enemies in Resident Evil aren't zombies, so...
Originally they were, and they've eventually became more just monstrous freak things, didn't they, over time?
Well, no, even in the first one, there's still a lot of the monstrous kind of freak things.
Yeah.
You got the hunters. I mean, then
if it was Mario, if it was put in the Mario terms, zombies are basically your Goombas. And then eventually you get like lickers and hunters that are all basically
they're like your Koopas
and your Lakitos or the things that throw the like turtles outside of their little floating cloud deal.
Yeah, so you should start getting to all sorts of things. But
I don't know. That was my comparison. That shows my level of knowledge for fucking Resident Evil. But there's zombies and there's a thing called a licker. That's what I know. And then there's the Spanish talking ones from number 4. Okay.
Yeah, you got those. Well, this one, it just really does kind of like dial it in. There's just there's zombies, then there's sort of like things that are more mutated, variations of zombies that kind of explode. They got like these pig things in there. They're kind of like Cerberus dogs, but whatever they are, wild pig, boar, dog, I'm not too sure. I just make sure they're dead. There's some little spiders in it because they haven't had spiders for like ever in Resident Evil. And some other stuff too, but overall, it's one of those ones, like, I have a feeling that people would still kind of crap on it. I actually haven't looked at a single review on it, I just wait, I'm waiting for the physical copy to come out because I don't want the stupid downloadable one. And then when it came out, I bought it and I just played it. I was like, dude, this is great. Do I like it as much as maybe Resident Evil 6? I don't know. Because Resident Evil 6 just gave so much content. The only one complaint I have in Resident Evil 6 is that I hate how they took away the upgrade system. They put in that stupid kind of like Call of Duty perks thing. So you really just pick the 3 best ones, and then...
Whatever. I do want to say this real quick. I cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just say, that silly perk system. Because in number 5, that was like the best part. And in 4 is just being able to buy all the guns and upgrade them and have all that much fun.
Do you still have the like, hey stranger,
No, that guy's been gone.
You think he shows you? You think he's like flashing his dick for a second? Like, oh, what the? Oh, he's got guns. Okay.
Okay, good. Guns are safe. Dick, not.
The first thing, yeah, I thought he was showing me his dick. It's only guns. Okay, good.
So I shot him, and then I realized he had a bunch of guns, so I robbed him. But he was dead.
That is one of those things. When you kill him, you don't. I only killed him once, and I felt bad about it. Don't ask me why. I feel bad when I kill like innocent people, and he's probably not that innocent. He's a black market arms dealer, hanging out in a zombie infested zone. But I just get that weird guilt, like, oh man, he's probably just trying to feed his family, or maybe but whatever. I shot him one time. I shot him up, and it was just gold. I thought I was gonna get a bunch of guns, but I don't remember getting any ammo. I just want to say it was fucking gold. I didn't need any more gold at that point. And I was like, oh, what's the fucking point of that?
The weird thing too is that then you just go down farther down the road, and he's back there again. You're like, what the fuck?
He's like, I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen. So let's try this again. Do you want some guns? And like flashes you again.
I just remember like shooting him with like the rocket launcher, so he like exploded everywhere. And I just, as well as I'm like, the main reason I didn't do it the first time around is I'm like, what if he's not there anymore and I can't upgrade my guns? It's just not worth it.
What if they do like a I don't remember what Legend of Zelda it was, but if you steal the pot from the guy when he's not looking, you go back in the store, like, you stole my shit, and he like electrocutes you.
Oh, that's in the Game Boy one.
Yeah.
Which that's like, it's one of those ones then from the rest of the game you're called Thief, but it's like, I didn't have to spend like 500 rupees to get this crap. I just went there and stole it a couple times.
That guy was a thief for charging the town for ridiculous prices for shit you probably don't even need that badly.
No, you did. You needed the shovel, and you need all the shit from the store, and he knew it, so he fucking jacked the prices.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck him.
That's okay. It's worth just being called Thief just to know. It's like, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I stole from that jerk. Glad everybody in the world knows this.
At a time with no social media or anything, just for Link to roll in, the whole town immediately knows that guy stole the shit. You just can't ever go back in his store, right? You can go, but other people recognize you.
We're going to take a quick break right here. But now a word from our buddies at Painted Black Podcast. Take a listen.
I'm Pete, that's Brian.
Yeah.
There's Lou. We are Painted Black Podcast. We are Painted Black Comics.
If you could describe the show, what would you describe it?
Horribly offensive.
Balls to the walls.
A good time.
I don't know. Unprofessional? I wouldn't be surprised if fucking Barney heard some screaming from next door. Right?
Hey, yo, Fred, I got kicked out of the house. Can I stay with you guys for a little bit?
No, Barney. We're not friends like that. You better go stay with the zoo.
Yeah. Dum-dum, you should have said yes to your wife. Can you imagine what Disney World would have been like had he lived longer?
No Jews. That's the primary difference.
Yeah. I feel like he funded the Nazis in some way. I can't prove it.
The first fucking model of their helmet had ears on it.
Oh, the Basketeers are coming over the hill. What the fuck's going on?
Dosan sounds like a Renaissance painter.
He was a Fifth Ninja Turtle. He wasn't right in the head. They didn't really bring him out too much. I'd like to fight the foot.
That's probably why they had those stupid ass toppings.
Bubble gum.
Fuck, who let those sounds order the pizza?
I want a stink bug.
Who put Legos on this shit? Can I give you money for sex?
I would enjoy you making a transaction for a blowjob.
Can I get a receipt with that pussy?
Oh yeah, how do I follow this?
Do you wash those briefs with starch?
Make that booty clap. Why don't you?
Let's hear Randy Newman doing the song for Pompeii.
Oh, he's on the spot.
Whoa, it's smoke. Volcano. Whoa, it's the smoke. Vesuvius.
No, you can always go back in the store because you keep robbing them over and over again.
Because when I went in there, he just killed me immediately.
No,
I'd have
if
to
you go in there,
right
he'll kill
back.
you, and then from that point, but all it does is it takes one to your whatever, like it doesn't do anything. You just die, and then you can restart, and then you still have the shit in your hands.
You clearly see how far
I know
got
you're
in
missing
that
out. That's
game.
one of the best Zelda games too.
Well, I know that's also the one where it's like he went to sea.
Yeah, it has a very sad ending.
Probably
It's
fucking
like-
died. That's probably, I'll be honest with you, that was like what the said the text. He's
Probably a whale
fucking
came
dead.
up and raped him and killed him and left him for dead.
A whale of all things. I just mentioned Link just on this little wooden raft. Just as well.
It's like, Zelda, I'm
Just like,
coming
oh,
back.
fuck.
I've got a boner.
Just flopping against it.
This whale's got this huge boner.
And all of a sudden, this fucking like Free Willy, it's like a silhouette of like Link on a boat. That Free Willy silhouette, just this whale with this fucking raging boner about to crash on top of him.
I know that was one of those games. Just like it had that like, and Link sailed off and never returned back to Hyrule. The end. You're like, oh.
Hopefully, just like landed at like like maybe just landed at like a better place. Because Hyrule shit's going bad every 5 seconds. I gotta go save Zelda from Ganon, and if I die, I just come back and I have to do the same bullshit over again. I found a place where you don't have to do that anymore, so I'm fine. I'm better
working
off
at this
over
casino
here.
now. It's not so bad.
Yeah, I mean, I had to rough up this guy that came in with a 2x4 the other day. But he ain't coming
I'm just
back.
trying
I
to work
ain't
a regular
stressing
job
that
here.
shit.
You know what I mean? It's not if they want to sell moonshine, have prostitution. That's not my fault.
Oh shit, he's back. What the fuck? Yeah. He's just revived Mech and Hyrule. Like, well, I lived a life for a little while. I saw how the other half lives. Whatever. You got to do what you got to do, right? I'm really wishing they made a Buford Pusser, like not just a modern one, but I'd like to see kind of like an early Nintendo NES version, top down kind of Metal Gear Solid view. You have just the baseball bat or the 2x4. You just whack guys and you have to clear out the area. Like almost Legend of Zelda style.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
If you had the Walking Tall video game, that'd be pretty badass.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta see that movie. I gotta see this movie now. Just looking at his life story.
Yeah, you do. It's grand. But yeah, good old Zelda. I've been trying to still work my way through the Majora's Mask one. It's just kind of sat there for so long. I don't know what it is. The only thing that's nice about handhelds is the second that you're kind of at the house, you have this thing. It's like, well, I could play a handheld, or I could just use the TV that I got sitting right there. So.
I think the whole concept of a handheld originally was like, oh, look, you can play this tiny game when you're out and about. You don't need to be sitting in front of a TV. But then once you got one that I guess is as good as a, I just don't have much incentive to play it at my house. Really, I really do got to take it with me. Because if I'm sitting at my house, I'm like, well, I do got this better looking TV right here that can play games that look just as good on it.
Yeah, I mean,
it is like this weird miracle age that the fact that we can almost have something that has that much power in our pocket, but still, I almost feel so selfish and shitty when I don't play it. Really.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just like a handheld game is much more fun when you're not at your own place and you're playing it. You almost have to be in an area where you're kind of forced, you got nothing else to do but play Game Boy.
That's why I usually kind of I get most of my reading done when I'm doing my laundry, but sometimes I'll bring my 3DS with me. If I'm going to Golden Gate Park, where it's beautiful and serene and all that, that's when I'll bring my Game Boy with me. Nature.
Outdoors. Even that's different. That's dirty nature out there.
Parts of it are nice. If you're looking over at the edge off of Haight and Stanyan, where all the fucking crust punks and Children of the Grateful Dead are, that's where it's gonna be.
People are throwing
frisbees
and fucking no shoes on and shit.
They ain't even throwing frisbees.
The gutter punk
I'm talking
section?
about there's the gutter punk right by Amoeba Music and the McDonald's right off of Haight and Stanyan. Now there's a Whole Foods there across from McDonald's. Amazing contrast.
The McDonald's doesn't let you park in the parking lot so you can go to Amoeba.
Exactly. We were really painting a picture for the folks here, but yeah. So, and I work not far away from that spot on some days. There's different locations I have to work at. And it takes every ounce of energy for me not to go over there with a fucking U-lock and just start beating the fuck out of some fucking crust punks. Because all of them got dogs and all of them treat their dogs like shit. I saw like a lady like literally grabbing a puppy by the back. You stop it! You stop barking! Shaking the dog by the back of its neck. It's like, rah, 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 rah.
And those gutter punks, it's just one of
It's
those
a
ones
fucking-
like, you want to clean up a town, and it's like, go clean those guys out. It's like,
We need to resurrect Buford Pusser to show
no. We
these
just
fucking punks.
since we can't resurrect him necessarily, we just gotta take
We will find
we
a
just
way.
gotta take on the form of like, what would Buford do, and go there and show him who's
Buford
boss. Because there's only one Buford out there, and he's dead, but his legend lives on, and we could start different churches of Buford that are really
So,
more like anything.
right
They're like police stations, but a place that you could that something gets done, unlike a regular police station.
So right next to the Church of the Jeth, we got
The Buford
Church
Church.
of the Buford. It's just like slap dab right next to it.
Exactly. So, if you got problems out there, there's a man who can actually solve it. Because if you ask the police to solve that problem, they wouldn't do anything about it. You know what I mean? There's nothing they're going to do. They're like, fuck you, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to go take money from this guy who's like, has 3 parking tickets.
Exactly. No, but what would Buford do? Buford just solve his problems with the baseball bat. That's what you got to do sometimes.
That's what he does. He just takes action in his own hands and gets it done, goddammit, because that's fucking America. Not waiting on your ass just for, until you get paid to do it. No. You do it because, you know what? That's the right thing to do. It's to do the right thing. And that's what Buford does.
Yes, he did. And I'm so fucking sad to find out he died so quick.
But that's okay.
Never really knew a whole lot about him before today, other than just like an idea of who he was from the movie. But after reading that, just right after, shit.
No, it's sad. But yeah, clean up that San Francisco. Oh, there's a lot of that crap there that somebody's just too lazy to go out there and do.
Well, I mean, like I usually don't go that far into the. I mean, if I'm going to like Amoeba Music or to like Comics Experience, I ride by that area. But I usually don't go to that area of the park. I'm usually more on the other side of the park, and that's where it's a little bit more quieter, a little more chill. And that's kind of like, it's a beautiful day outside. I'll bring my 3DS.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could go play my 3DS just like in public like that. It's like, I don't know.
I like to fucking judge you.
No, not that. I don't have a problem about that part. It's just, I don't know. I just don't like to be around other people when I'm doing shit. Like
I'm not going there like on like a Saturday after like Saturday at noon. I'm talking about like I don't have normal work schedule. I'll go in there like a Tuesday at 11 o'clock. That's when no one else is around. I'm just enjoying.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's right. I thought you literally were going out there on a fucking Saturday afternoon.
Fuck that,
I'm
no.
just here at the park, sitting around, playing my 3DS.
I mean, I might go play disc golf with Wes and just like we'll like chuckle at the other disc golf players who are good. But I mean, beyond that though, I just no.
In Twain Hart, they're getting rid of the disc golf course.
I didn't know
TUD's
Twain
like,
Hart
those fucking hippies up there. Yeah, there's been one there for a while.
How long?
It's at the old golf course in Twain Hart.
I didn't fucking know about that. Oh, like are they're smoking the reefer? I can smell it all the way from my outpost.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because, like, the whole point of disc golf is that people go out there and just start drinking beers and taking drugs and, having a good old time, fucking America style, goddammit. Doing, because, what, the disc golf is made for the average Joe who can't afford no fancy regular golf. But there's always disc golf that doesn't cost him anything. Except for maybe a couple fucking frisbees that sometimes are really fucking expensive. I don't know how they're that expensive. But other than that, though, it's his American right to be able to go out there and entertain himself in the free way, in nature, outdoors.
I'm guessing that's maybe the warmer version of you hear about like, because I'll be honest, disc golf, it doesn't jump out at me, but it is more of just kind of like, I'm not really I don't really think of myself as a manly man or a real big tough guy, but I guess it is one of the few things. Like, it's man time. We're going disc golfing. That's one of the sort of things I sort of.
It's kind of like the least manly like fucking sport.
I just get a little bit of that because it's just like, well, all right. It's one of those things like it doesn't require a whole lot of like physical like dedication, but I guess it's the same thing almost. Is I don't see the appeal of it, but like a bunch of guys going out on like ice and ice fishing in a box. I don't really see the appeal of it. Like, we just got to get away from the wives for a minute, Maybe that's just kind of like for those.
Same thing as regular fishing, but it's what you do when you're up
Yeah,
north.
still, you think just the concept of having it up north, sitting in a box in ice, you think that alone, which is like, I don't feel like fishing today. Why? Because it's fucking cold. We're in a box in the middle of fucking nowhere. I
Well, I think it's that thing. It's just like, do you feel like eating tonight? And you're like, well,
maybe
yeah.
back in like
Well, then go up there and go fucking fishing, Dunigan, instead of sitting on your ass there fucking playing the 3DS in our fucking ice igloo in Canada, goddammit.
Ice igloo in Canada. Well, here's the thing. I've been at this point. You probably don't need that. I'm sure at this point in time, no matter where you are, you could get food somehow that does not require you to go out in a fucking box in 0-degree weather with a fucking fishing pole.
Well, I bet you there's some places in Alaska you can't just walk down the street to a Whole Foods.
Not Whole Foods. I'm not fucking. I don't even go to Whole Foods. I'm not talking fucking Whole Foods. I'm just saying, at this point in time, I think there's a lot of people that do it. They're just like, yeah, well, my daddy did it. My great granddaddy did it. We got to get away from the wives. Let's go inside of our ice box and, like, cuddle.
Strip all the clothes off and just kind of.
We'll slap our dicks to get warm. I don't fucking know. To me, like, I guess, like, it's almost a thing like just to like kill time and get away or whatever. I'm guessing like maybe disc golf is kind of the I don't know, maybe the warmer climate version of that. Kind of like I'm not really into it that much, but it gives me hour or so to bullshit with a good friend of mine and drink beers. I don't know.
Yeah, that's sort of, I guess, kind of equivalent in that sense because it's not well. I know. I still think the fishing one up there. I just don't think you got like other choices for fishing wise. It's like when everything's frozen. I think that's just what you have to do is go on top of a lake, fucking cut a hole out, put an outhouse on top of it, and call it a day.
If I'm going fishing, I want to go fishing like when it's. I mean, I guess they don't have that choice.
Yeah,
I guess me, it's just kind of like for me, the appeal of fishing isn't so much just I can't wait to get like a fucking hook in a fish's mouth and watch it squirm and wither in pain. For me, it's more of like, okay, I get to go out and go on a boat with some friends, just kind of go be out in nature for a little while. That's kind of the thing. But I guess I don't know. I'm not trying to be judgmental to people who like, well, for us, it's not a choice, it's a fucking lifestyle, But I just don't see for people who want to do it for fun, I just don't see the appeal of it. But maybe if you grew up in that environment, that'd be different.
Yeah. I'm still going with the fact that I assume that that's just how you go and you get your fresh fish.
I saw like I don't know. Not everybody.
With disc golf doesn't really have like a purpose, except for like like a slight entertainment and very very slight physical activity.
No, well, I'll say this: whatever it is, because there are people you'll see. They'll have like fucking huge beer guts and just like floppy man tits. But then, like, when they go for that throw, they go for that perfect throw, and they're wearing their, like, unreasonably short shorts. You'll see their calves, and, well, for a fat guy, that guy's got some calves on him. That guy is well-toned, calves only, but that guy, whatever he's doing, it's working for him to get that perfect throw. I don't know, maybe it's like...
That's just got to carry that weight all day long. It's like he's doing the calf machine at the gym every single day of his life.
Only thing he does at the gym. Well, there's always those guys at the gym that just work out the upper half of their body thinking that's all that matters. This is the other guy. He just works out the lower half.
Yeah, the really lower half, he's like, I don't go above the calves.
If these guys like merge, these guys like Voltron together or fusion dance together, they'd probably create the person like perfect physical shape, but...
But but that poor disc golf course is going away up there in Twin. It's like I just feel it's one of the ones like as a person who's not really the biggest disc golf person, just mainly because I just don't feel like I have that time in life to always go out there. I'm not saying against it, but I that's how I feel it is. It's like that's kind of like an hour out of my day that could be put towards something creative, or 2 hours most. It's actually longer than an hour. If you want to play the whole course. But I think it's a nice thing to have though. For people that want to go out and pretty much play golf, but not have to spend, $20 to $100 plus, for a round of golf.
I guess for me, it's one of those things. I don't even own disc golf. I don't even own like disc golf discs or anything. It's kind of one of those things like, oh, well, me and Wes are both pretty busy. He likes to do it. So this is kind of a chance for, okay, I got to go hang out with him for a little while. Beyond that, though, it doesn't really have any real appeal to me. There's somewhere else I was going with this, but like you said, you get that weird like I feel like I should be spending this time doing other things. I'm literally getting that with everything now. I'm now at the point.
Yeah?
I feel like now I'm at the point where I'll wait for you to put your headphones back on, and you got them back on. Cool. I feel like now.
Okay, I thought you would just keep talking, but
no, I wasn't sure. I thought you missed the joke. I missed the punchline. Like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. You know. but I feel like now I'm at the point though where like if I'm doing one thing, I'll feel guilty for not doing another thing. Like I'll be like, okay, I'm working on drawings or I'm working on animation stuff all day, but then I'll feel guilty. Like it's a beautiful sunny day. I should be going out. I should be living. I'm still in my 20s. I should be going out and be like adventuring. And all of a sudden, once I go out and do that, it doesn't go as planned. Like I should have just stayed inside and just fucking stayed in the computer.
I learned that it's just one of those ones like if I have a free moment, generally, it's like I've always made rules for myself. Like if it's like the daytime, it's like stick to about 3 different things. Either do something creative, go outside and do physical activity, or read. But like I just keep it like that. It's like that's what should be done. You know what I mean? Don't waste the day on like I almost keep like video games and movies and anything like that till like unless it's like movie theater or something like a special event. I keep it towards like the end of the day, like 7 to 8 o'clock at night. Like at that point, and do whatever you want. But if it's kind of the regular day, I want to make sure I get some stuff done. It's kind of like the key goal.
I basically just kind of have like, I mean, if I'm
that's different. I'm talking about
days,
like on a day off.
That's different, but on days off though, I get this weird like I gotta like maybe space it out more because I'll be like I'm either doing one or the other because I'm doing that one thing all day and then maybe right before bed I'm doing something else. I don't know, like watching a movie or just doing some drawings or something like that. But yeah, I'm now at the point where if I'm not doing one thing, I feel bad for not doing the other. So, but I don't know because like you said, just space it out.
Mostly, I always feel whenever I'm like kind of like dragged into something like where it's just kind of like you're just not doing enough. Then I get that thing. It's like I could be at home getting something productively done, but now I am out, here doing this other thing, and I only have so much time in life before I die, so I need to really get the other one done.
That is a thing now. When I was younger, I was like, not even like that long ago, maybe like a few years ago, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I'm young, I got time. But now I like within the last few years, like, shit, we're all fucking dying. Suddenly once you get, I know people older than me would be like saying, shut the fuck up. But the second you get close to 30, I'm not 30 yet, but the second you get close to 30, that's where you're like, oh wait, time literally is passing by. Oh fuck. Like what how old was that? How old was the bass player for that old 60s band that just died? He was 60?
Shit, I'm halfway there. Yeah, really then he started to get scared.
I'm halfway there. Yeah, so now it's just okay. Well, all right, yeah. Now, then suddenly that's when I feel bad for doing anything that's not like creatively based or not one thing or the other. So,
yeah, that's one of those ones. Yeah, I think there's a period like I think it's like kind of like right before your 20s. So it's that high school age where you're just like we got all the time in the world to get everything done.
Yeah.
And then the second you're kind of like when you're about like 25, you go, man, if I was in high school and if I focused all my attention on this one or two aspects, like think of what I could have accomplished.
And then you hit like 27 and you think, man, if I just did that in my early 20s, think of all that I could have accomplished.
And then you're 55 years old and you're like, when I was 45 years old, if I did all this, I could have got so much more done.
That's kind of my problem. I was kind of a nostalgist for a while, and I would kind of always reflect back and kind of wish back on a particular time. And I realized it was a problem once I was kind of wishing back and thought back. Actually, I wasn't really happy back then. I was actually pretty pissed off and bitter. But maybe because it was in the past, it just seemed either
it seems bright and sunny.
Yeah, literally. Like other times, I was like, man, I remember this and I remember that, and I wish I could kind of go back to that time. That I thought back like, well, I was pretty depressed and pretty angry, so why am I nostalgic about this? Maybe I think it was just something about when it's past and it's done. I don't know about you, but myself, maybe I immediately just kind of reflect back and imagine it being better than what it was.
I always look at the best times in my life as fourth grade, and that always seems like the weird one because most people go like fourth grade. Most people go like, "What do you mean like you're when you were 17 or something like?" No, when I was 10 because. Fourth grade just seemed like there was nothing bad I can think about in that entire year. It was just full of everything good. I just think of, it was like the time period where Pokemon like blossomed into like my heart. It was I was hanging out with Cisco, and he had, we're playing all kinds of N64 and Super Nintendo games. And once again, as I said, fucking Pokemon. Anime started just like blossoming out to like America. So it's like,
Everything just fucking blossoming.
oh man, it was, man. Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Gundam Wing. There was so much good stuff just going on. This material was just flowing into me that, like, I guess because technically it wasn't really there prior. I mean, it was, but it was like you had to go out and translate it yourself and so on. So it just started all appearing at once, And I think
So for you, it was all probably. Go ahead, I cut you off.
I was gonna say, it was time here to playing PlayStation, all this stuff. It was just like this renaissance of just Japanese culture. I think finally like finding its place inside of me. Which beforehand there wasn't much of it there. It was there in like slight bursts, like Speed Racer in my Sega Genesis.
Did it now? When you say got inside, was it like an easy slide in, or was it like full like urgent like fist?
No, it was easy. It was smooth. It was just like
gentle with you.
It was like I was sitting down and I was fucking like absorbing a Hadoken. I was creating the Hado power around me, fucking Ryu style. And I had it.
God damn it! I was making an ass fucking metaphor, and you had to like ruin it with like something meaningful.
I don't know, because that's how good fourth grade was. I mean, there was literally nothing wrong. I just remember in school, like nothing wrong. It was like that year where like everybody was everybody's friend. There was no judgment. There was no like fights or feuds. I mean, maybe a couple over some Pokemon cards, but that was just a good old times. You know what I mean? It's like a hockey game. It's like they're just boys being boys. Afterwards, they'll share a beer together.
Yeah, no, fourth grade, that was actually a pretty good time for me. It's amazing how quickly things kind of like, I mean, things were still good, but it was kind of like half and half, like fifth, like, I don't know what it is, but I mean, as shocking as this may be, for a while, I was like a straight A honor student for a while.
That's what I was too.
And then I hit fifth grade, and that was gone. I don't know what happened. It was just gone after that. And, yeah. And
fifth grade was a big turning point. I noticed that like all those like dreams and admirations that came from fourth grade and this magical, perfect world that we once lived in, where nothing was wrong and the sun always shined and everything was grand. Fifth grade was that point where it just went crashing downhill.
I just don't know why.
Like, it was a roller coaster where one of the wheels was broken off and you had no idea what was going to happen on this downhill slope.
I just don't know why that of all things was like welcome to fifth grade. This is reality, bitch. Fifth grade. You don't have a name. You have a fucking number.
And in that, because that was a period where like fifth grade was the start of when people started doing like, I don't fucking watch cartoons or play video games. That's for fucking kids. It was like when that era started happening. And then sixth grade was like the really bad version of that. And there was just that kind of point where like, that's where like, what happened to that unity of fourth grade where we were all on that same soccer team and we all played GoldenEye and we all had Pokemon cards and everything was great and fantastic and love was in the air.
You're making it sound like fucking...
yeah, that's not fucking there anymore now, is it? Now give me that fucking Pokemon cards. I need to go buy some drugs.
You're making it sound like fourth grade was Woodstock and then fifth grade was Altamont.
That's almost how it was. Except for the only thing that'd be cooler is if the Rolling Stones was at Woodstock. Maybe.
It's Woodstock instead of Altamont,
Yeah, but that's sort of like how it was. It was just there was this time when everything just sort of worked out, and then that all faded away like pretty quickly.
For me,
and it goes to that fact where like you could be kind of unified with your entire class. To next thing you know, because you still did the exact same things you always did, now you're the different one. Now you're the one that for some reason people are questioning your behavior. And why does he still, and we're like, you almost have to hide your like Pokemon and anime, like, the things you really like in life. You can't just express it so out there. I mean, there was a time period where you could talk about with everybody. You could be like, don't you all just love this Gundam Wing that we've been granted?
that we've been
the gods of Japan have been sent to us. Filtered into Canada where they are dubbed and then brought down to us here in America where we are flourished with it.
Given to us by our great savior robot Tom from the Toonami.
Yes. Who I have learned that is also our grand hero of Cowboy Bebop, Steve Bloom. But
that is another story.
It's one of those ones like, and then next thing you know, you get to the 5th and 6th grade and then now it's like, okay, you guys are the 6 guys that like wrestling, fucking video games and anime. You're different. We don't like you anymore.
faggot. Yeah,
Why
that's
the
kind of
fuck do you always run across our backpacks? I don't know. We don't know any better.
Yeah, there were those kids. Yeah, that was like, I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm wrong here, but and don't get me wrong. I'm not what I'm about to say. I mean, I love my folks. I get along with my folks, but I think there was a big generational thing. Because my dad was like, I don't know why the fuck he still likes cartoons. You know, because I still liked anime and all that, and video games and all that. And since I think that was such generational gap, my dad was like, he's watching this Dragon Ball ball sack thing. I don't know what the fuck it is. You know, he's watching this Gundam Dong. I don't really know what the fuck this shit is. Why is he? When I was his age, I was like in bands. I was already getting laid. You know, not like that much, but
I got him fucking a Megazord in the bathroom. I was really disturbing.
I don't know. I knew it was a mistake getting that thing for Christmas, but yeah, but no, like
I like big holes on the back end of it. What I mean, it says that that's where you store your missiles at, but I think he took that the wrong way.
Yeah, the kid ain't right, Diane. The kid ain't right. No,
well, I think there was a time period where like it was kind of the adult age where like there was just a cutoff period. Like there was literally, if you still like the stuff past this fifth, I'm going to use fifth grade because I bet you anything it was about fifth grade as well too. From fifth grade on, if you don't change, then you're that guy.
I think that's kind of happened a little bit because, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here, and I'm not trying to, because I'm on good terms with my dad, and I love my dad, but I think it was almost one of those things, kind of like maybe at this age, like because maybe parents are like maybe a lot because that seemed to be a generational thing. Remember, a lot of kids were into that same shit, but then they kind of either abruptly stopped or pretended to stop around certain company. And I almost kind of imagine, because since that was such a radical like difference between their generation and our generation, maybe not just their parents but other people in their lives kind of like, why do you still like this shit? You don't want to be that weird fucking pasty guy you see like in whenever there's like a nerd in a movie. You don't want to be that guy. Stop liking that shit right now. And I think that people were afraid of becoming that, so a lot of people, that was the cutoff, because that was that generation. Maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but that generation never had anything that kind of like, it was kind of like, oh yeah, I grew up watching Looney Tunes, then I got a job, Or
yeah, literally, there was no mid-step to that.
Oh yeah, I saw like some Disney cartoons when I was a kid, and then I went to Vietnam.
Free,
Yeah. And then and then I got married. I think that there wasn't really this. We didn't really have.
We went down to the river, and shit went wrong. That's pretty much where the Bruce Springsteen song just starts kicking in, and fucking like then you hear like, oh man,
that song's just all about like kids wear a fucking condom. That's what the song
really is. Like, don't fuck up.
I was listening.
But I think it's like the '90s generation was that one where it's just like, there's just so much freedom, man, and we can express ourselves in art and creativity, and there's things out there that like expand our minds, like video games, and comic books, and stuff. But they're like so made for like older audiences, Dad.
I don't understand what you're saying, son. Just just stop with the Chinese cartoons and get back to me when you know how to change a tire.
And I think that's just our is where it's like the upside is, I remember going from that 5th and 6th grade, the upside is by the time high school came around, it all kind of came back where people started to be like, there was that Pokemon wave once again where it was cool to like Pokemon finally. After like 6 like pressing years of like hatred and remorse and like having to like show your Pokemon cards in like the dark closet.
You're making it sound like as if there was some kind of like Pokecost, like a Poke Holocaust, where they're throwing like the fucking.
There was if you got caught with a pack of Pokemon cards,
like in a fucking trench or something like that.
There was just a bunch of jocks, and they just got like a bunch of like nerds fucking tied up, and they like staple Pokemon cards to like their shirt. There was a period though.
They don't quarter them into like a little section at the PE and just start like chucking like fucking dodgeballs at them.
There was almost a period where just like you just couldn't like express that stuff as well, or if you did, then you just became like those 6 guys that fucking hung out by a bathroom and didn't allow anybody to go inside it because you kind of claimed it as your own.
I see you. I don't really see you guys being the real. I mean, I didn't meet you till like high school. there's so many places I can go with that. I'm gonna let it slide by. I didn't know you till like your junior year of high school, and my
Uh-huh.
actually no, yeah, your
A little bit earlier than that.
I want to say your sophomore year of high school, my junior year. I don't think I knew you until then, but I'm having trouble imagining you guys being the guys that were bullied. I really see you
No,
guys
we
being
weren't bullied whatsoever. We were just
those guys.
ostracized, I guess, maybe. We literally, like, in 7th and 8th grade, I remember there was about like 8 of us, and we hung out like on these like kind of like a railing that you could sit on this lower bathroom that like nobody else could really came around, and it was just me, Adam Gold, Josh Bullock, RJ Ains. I mean, there were a bunch of people that nobody
You're already
fucking
doing
has
the
any
dad
idea.
thing. That thing when you actually kind of name off people that only you know. Really, I know you're talking about, but
Bob Ferguson down the road there, works at Randy's tire shop. You know the guy, right?
Floyd
Or he
Manning.
doesn't
You
even
know
ask that.
Floyd Manning. Me and Floyd Manning. We were like painting Old Man McAllister's fence one day.
He's just
Then
like, I don't know
Todd
any of these
Spinning
people.
came by and threw a rock at us. Then we got on our old radio flyers.
Well, whatever. The whole point is like there's about like 8 of us or so, and we just kind of all we did it was like there's like that time period. I don't know if you ever had this. Did you ever have a time period where like all it seemed like you guys just did was argue about facts and movies and video games?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like that was just like what lunch consisted of, was just arguing.
Yeah.
We spent, I think, literally one entire 45-minute lunch arguing how fucking Billy kicked in the vending machine in Jurassic Park 3. I kid you not. It was a furious argument too. It's like, did he run in and kick it, or did he just stand there and kick it? How did he do it? Like, we're breaking it fucking down, like play by play of how he kicked in this vending machine that had. Who the fuck cares? Like, I don't even know how like that ever came around when there was all this arguments. Yeah, apparently there was a time period where it was a pressing matter.
The thing is, this day and age, though, kids could see like, let me find out. Pulls out his phone, like Billy kicks in,
ran in.
Literally type in that scene. Billy and JP3 kicks it. Oh, look, it even finished it for me. It knows what I'm talking about. Here we go.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so maybe it's something that just won't exist nowadays, because there was a time period where like you came to school and you just argued about movies, like, well, and that was just. I don't know. You didn't have anything better to do. You fucking hung out around this restroom. And we used to do this thing too, like with the rare chance that somebody would come to use this restroom, we'd all run inside and take all like the urinals and like toilets and stuff and just stand there so that they couldn't use it. Why? I don't know. It was just entertaining, I guess.
I imagine you all had like Bad to the Bone just playing in your head whenever you guys were hanging out in there, right?
Probably, because we're just sitting there with a bunch of like metal head teachers.
I just see you guys just like arms
arguing
crossed.
about movies.
I just see someone else walking in there. Wait, someone's coming. Just arms crossed, all leaning against the fucking wall or the stalls, not saying anything, looking at whoever goes in there and just staring at him.
We didn't even do it like that. We would literally go in there like we were all using the restroom at once. So it was just like, I think we forced Cisco to go in there, like, go into like the stall, just start making sounds. So this kid will never come back ever again to this spot. We will claim this place as our own.
You guys probably thought like, man, they probably think we're a bunch of hard asses that are probably like making this their territory, or they're too scared to come in here. Like, no. We're pretty sure those guys just fucking all lunch, so we're not even going in there.
Yeah, God forbid what those guys are. I mean, they're hanging out. They're hanging out that one chick that happens to be 3 years older than everybody else.
She's a bad influence. I heard she smoked marijuana once.
Yeah, I think she was like literally like, I think 15 when everybody else was like 13 and like just hanging out there.
So like kind of like was she like the hot like older chick that was kind of like, yeah, she was being cool and she was hanging out with you guys, or was she more of just kind of like she was cool but she was more of just kind of like, she ain't for me, she's just too kind of like metal or too kind of weird?
No, everybody thought she was really friendly and nice, but I don't think anybody cared because all we wanted to do was argue.
Oh.
She
jumped in like, no, Billy clearly ran in and kicked the vending machine. I saw that movie 3 times.
Yeah, I know what it is now. God damn it! But still, there was a period of time when there was.
What is it though? Just
he runs in and kicks it. It's kind of off screen, so it's kind of hard to see it because it's supposed to be like a scare, almost like a jump scare, I guess you could say. But
is this right before the part where the raptors all like has a zoom in on like on Dr. Grant's face, like, my God, she's calling for help? Is it around that part?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit before that. It's when I can't remember the dad guy. He's like, oh, I think I got a couple nickels here, and he goes to put it in, and Billy just runs in and kicks that thing in.
Fargo dad.
Yeah, Fargo dad, exactly. Or he's also the sad tragedy guy in Boogie Nights.
I got to see that movie still.
I know you're missing out.
I've seen most of it. I've not seen the whole thing. It's all like the things just whenever I buy that movie, it's a fucked up copy or someone's like, I'll bring over Boogie Nights. Oh, good. And then all of a sudden, like, it's just like, I mean, I've seen a lot of parts of it and I love what I've seen, but it's just like, yeah.
Just gotta go online and buy it at some point and just say, like, fuck life, I'm buying it.
This has to be so interesting for the audience to be listening. Oh, yeah, Ryan still hasn't seen Boogie Nights.
Yeah, fucking, like, totally, like, the main thing we hear all the time is just, Ryan can't fucking get a good copy of Boogie Nights.
Well, it's probably reoccurred 2 or 3 times, maybe not all the time, but yeah.
It's not a bit that should be on a T-shirt. I'll tell you that. But
it's not like T-shirt.
Old man always says, Ryan still hasn't bought Boogie Nights.
Me with my arms up, like, what you gotta do? And there's just like a fucking like scratched DVD in my hand.
Just be like, oh, they screwed me over again.
Studio audience laugh track.
But
the reason why Ryan doesn't write for a sitcom, he's really been pushing that Boogie Nights joke. It doesn't seem to really go nowhere. He always insists, and even like when we actually finally got it into a final cut, no one laughed. Like, I don't get it, but he insists. It'll catch on, he says.
They will be there. Well, that's probably a good place to wrap it up. I was thinking of making a short one anyway, so we just went to a regular length, but that's okay. Make sure to go check out that T-shirts once again, which is at teespring.com/oldmanorange. And then if you want to win yourself a free T-shirt, send us something funny, send us a comment, all kinds of goodies, whatever you want.
Pick a random name.
Yeah, we're going to pick a random name, so just send an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. And you got about 20 plus more days for this or so. Well, by the time this podcast goes up, probably like 19. But make sure to check out oldmanorange.com. Leave us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, and any of those other fine podcast sites we might be on. You can find me at Spencer S. Holmes on Twitter. You can find
Dunigan Ryan on Twitter. I'm sorry. At Dunigan Ryan on Twitter.
But yeah, tell everybody you know about those T-shirts. Let's get some of those out there. They're really cool. I'd like to see people wearing them. It'll be fun. And then we'll start making some more T-shirts in the long run. Something we've always wanted to do, just it's that thing it's always at the end of the list. But Teespring seemed like a very simple site to make it with not too much of hassle. And I like that. Simple is good. So till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We'll see you some other time.
Later.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. It won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks again, and tune in next week for more Old Man Orange Podcast.